Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday, Kylie Jenner uploaded a video of her doing Kim Kardashian's makeup and I just had to wait until today to react to it for you guys. If you guys aren't familiar with me, my name is Welsh. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in real life. And it's my goal here to help you become a pro yourself or just someone who's really good at makeup. And sometimes that means separating what we see online to what we can actually achieve in reality. And I do a series of videos called Pro MUA Reacts, where I basically watch celebrities or other YouTubers do their makeup and I react to it and give a professional opinion and tips and some things that I might change. It's not shady or spilling tea against the person, it's literally just about the makeup. And I know a lot of people like to say makeup has no rules. There are absolutely no rules to creativity and individuality, but makeup does have a theory, and that's what I want to teach you guys today. And don't be offended that people want to know that. If I insult something you do in your makeup, then that's what happened, you know? So let's get into it. Let's just go ahead and watch the video. Yeah, so of course Kylie Jenner is not a makeup artist, first of all. She's obviously had makeup artists work on her, so I'm guessing this is going to be tips that she's picked up. I'm actually quite excited to watch it because, I don't know.
Today, I'm gonna do my big sister's makeup.
Okay, so stop it there straight away. If you haven't watched my Kylie Jenner video, maybe watch that just before this because I can see already on both of their faces, there's a few techniques that she's used in that video, but I didn't really like that I can see she's done already. I'm looking at Kim's face and I'm already looking at her blush placement and the bronzer or contour that's going on her forehead. Yeah. Let's carry on.
I killed this, so I can't wait for you guys to watch this because I'm really happy with my work. You have great advice.
Like world is coming to an end advice.
Very good advice.
Isn't that so funny?
And I love your fridge updates.
Yeah. I was just posing for a pic, and those are my drink fridges.
Yeah.
And so...
Gotta have a fridge for everything,
drinks.
I mean.
Yeah. I think...
Who? Taylor Lautner? Taylor
Oh,
Lautner
yeah,
was like
yeah.
Shark Boy.
Yeah.
And he was so cute.
Yeah. Mine was Johnny Depp.
Oh, okay.
Everything...
So let's just start with the foundation application technique. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, it's actually really nice. She went in with a brush first with a foundation and then went over with a beauty blender. That's a really nice technique to get a really even, smooth base and a full coverage as well, which isn't everyone's cup of tea, but for someone like them, people like the Kardashians and the Jenners, they're always going to be on camera. There's always going to be someone taking a picture of them, so it's a good technique to use to get that guaranteed full coverage. Just looking at this now, I think she's done concealer, and if I'm not wrong, she's done a little bit of concealer on the inside corner there, and then just by her lip, I think she's trying to cover a blemish. A lot of people, when they go for a concealer that's blemish covering, they tend to go for something that's lighter than their skin tone. And I've had this a lot of time. People say, shouldn't a concealer that's for covering blemishes be a shade lighter than your skin tone? Not really. When we use something light, for example, we use a light concealer under the eyes to highlight, it's to highlight that area because light is going to bounce off and make that area look brighter. So if you've got a smooth base like she's just done with her foundation, and then you're doing a light patch, a light patch, a light patch, a light patch in these areas where blemishes are, you're just highlighting them. And especially if they're raised or bumps, you know, like pimples, you're highlighting that pimple. Stick to the same skin tone. There's nothing wrong with that. You still want some even base. In terms of application where she has applied that concealer, so if you're a regular on my channel, you know I don't like the technique of putting loads of concealer under the eye. I think it's too cakey. I think it's horrible. And then people bake on it and it looks even worse. Her positioning, I'm hoping she keeps it there because it's slightly lower than the eye bag here, which means it isn't going to go all crepey and grip onto any like skin. And you know sometimes you can put too much product into the eye and fine lines appear out of nowhere that you don't actually have. So it's a good yeah, it's a nice positioning she's done there.
Do you see yourself having 4 kids?
I see myself for sure having 4 kids. I just don't know when.
My favorite thing about Stormi is honestly when she says yes. Like, it's just so clear and cute.
You ate the candy?
Yeah.
And Stormi does not. Stormi's, no, Mom, no pictures. And Chicago will ask me, come up to me, take a picture. picture? And she'll pose with some, and I'm like, you want me to take a picture of you?
Yeah.
This is like being on Facebook and seeing all these pictures of people's kids that you don't want to see. How do I...
So I'm
One maybe for
using
the
the
nose.
KKW contour sticks in shade medium 2.
So it'll be interesting to see how she does a contour, because usually I despise the way people contour. And believe it or not, the way we contour kind of comes from this like early Kardashian period, let's call it, in makeup, where we were transitioning from, this is what, early 2000s, when we were like transitioning from everyone wanting to look like Jennifer Lopez into everyone wanting to look heavier like Kim Kardashian. So it'll be good to see how she
I like
does
that they
this.
come in this new little situation.
North took me like a week to name her. Not a week, like 4 or 5 days, but I actually got it from JENNER. Saying I couldn't think of anything either, and we got books.
So let's take a little look at the positioning of that contour. Honestly, it's actually quite a nice colour for a contour. Usually with contour products, it's just like, it looks like a darker foundation or a bronzer. Contour is meant to be slightly colder because it's meant to mimic shadow and kind of like alter your bone structure, whereas bronzer just sculpts the face slightly and makes you look bronze. Whereas this one does have a kind of colder tone to it.
Okay, who do you think Mom likes better? I think she likes you better.
I think you're her OG, you know?
It's just done with this contour. There's a tiny bit on Kim's cheek. I think that might just be skin texture or something. But everywhere else kind of looks a little bit muddy. And I think that might come from the brush she's using. She's using like this really flat brush, which might be fine down the side of her nose. But for buffing in like a cream contour, you want like a kind of flat, dense brush. You don't want to drag up and down like this, because then you get like this uneven tone and uneven texture. So it is looking... You can almost still see where she's drawn it on. I don't like to contour this way anyway. Yeah, I'm not really into that contour.
No.
Yeah. But the reason I think she likes you...
So, and I just want to say also, from looking at it, it looks like she's kind of blended it up this way. Ideally, we want that kind of contour to either go towards the corner of her mouth or stop before it gets to kind of an apple of the cheek. Kim doesn't need any more definition in this area here. She has quite plump apples of the cheek. You can see where she's drawn it on. It doesn't look blended.
What was your first car?
Mom's old G-Wagon.
Oh my god, I remember I crashed that car. Yeah, bad.
So remember, back to my Kylie Jenner video, we spoke about her baking her nose. And this is something that a lot of people do. When we look at contouring and highlighting online, we see the way people do it and then we implement that onto our own faces. We all have different faces, of course. So not everyone has to bake or contour the same. I personally don't like baking at all. I think it's one of the worst things that's ever happened to the world. But Kim doesn't need this kind of baking on her nose. None of them do. Kylie's nose is tiny. Kim's nose is tiny. If you want definition, highlight down the middle and leave it. Call it quits and do that little bit of contouring. But to bake on the side of a nose like that isn't necessary.
What's your favorite memory of you and Kylie, and also the funniest memory?
You know what I've noticed? That's actually really nice. One of my biggest pet peeves in makeup nowadays, and seeing people doing makeup on like Instagram, you know, when you go through like a makeup academy's stories and you can see all these people and they have this, I call it claw hand, where it's like this. The artist is doing this to a model's head, or they're like lifting up their brows like this. I really like that Kylie has that under control. That's just a little thing. It's cute.
That song, and I videotaped
I'm
it.
actually not a bad dancer. People think I just do.
Okay, so I wasn't taking notice of Kim's brows before. Did Kylie just draw on that tail? Why am I not taking notice? So it's a little bit long. It is a tiny bit long. So when we measure, we know this is like basic makeup school. When we measure a brow, inside corner should be from the side of a nose or like inside corner of an eye. Your arch should be through the pupil, and then that's the arch. Hers has gone just very slightly past the tail, but we'll let her off because she's not a makeup artist. But I mean, nice shape.
I made this beat. Like, how are you so impressed right now?
Okay, so let's take a look at the liner shape, and this is something very small. The liner is actually pointing outwards and the brow goes past where the line is pointing, if that makes sense, just by a very small amount, but it kind of gives the impression now that the brow is even longer and it kind of just drags down that shape a little bit. and just looks a little bit ununiform. Ideally, if you were to carry them on, which you shouldn't, would meet. Usually the liner wouldn't stop before the brow finishes. It's a little bit of a strange shape.
Okay, I'm gonna try Kylie's trick of brown mascara on the bottom. What an interesting trick.
Oh, she's going with blush. I keep referring back to the Kylie Jenner video, but when she was in her blush and bronzer placement, it wasn't technically right. And the colours that she chooses, I don't know why she insists on using this. And I know it's her product, so she's probably trying to sell it, but she insists on using this really hideous pink. I just don't think it should be, that colour should be allowed anywhere, lipstick and blusher. And it's so obvious, especially on a skin tone like Kim's. That pink is almost the opposite. It has this cold tone and she has this more like warmer undertone. So to see something that's opposite, it makes it really stand out. And the placement is very like, it's very old-fashioned and very like if somebody with no idea about makeup was to put blush on someone, they'll put it right here. But that kind of accentuates the apples of the cheek. So if you want to accentuate that, that's fine. But on Kim, what we've done here is we've already added definition and structure to her cheekbones, which is going to lift up here and the apples of the cheek. And also we're adding that blusher. If I was to choose a blusher for her and I still wanted it to be bright, I would go for something peachier, just because it will blend nice with the skin and it will look like it's coming from within the skin rather than just sitting on top.
I love a bright.
Yeah, I can't stop looking at that blush now. See, that blush should move up to here. So we have our, ideally, it's not what we've done in this video, but it should be contour, then blended into bronzer, then blended into blush, and then highlight is a different situation. But you almost want it to be a gradient like your eyeshadow would from your transition shade to your lid shade and your deeper shade through the socket. You kind of want it all to blend and fade in together to give a more natural look. This is very structured and I'm now looking at her cheek and I've just noticed that very harsh line underneath her contour. I know Kim Kardashian usually has a really intense like full makeup routine, but in a way sometimes in pictures you can't really see the makeup. You can see the eye makeup, you can see the lips. Here it's like Kim is wearing makeup. Kim has a full-on Instagram-y kind of makeup situation going on.
Really pretty liner color on you too.
So, I always say this about some people's makeup. It looks like they've drawn their face on because it looks like everything has a defined outline. Her cheeks are outlined, her lips are outlined, her eyes, her brows, her nose. It almost has this like pop art kind of effect, you know? See, if you want to get that, it's fine to use a dark liner with a lipstick. I love that look, but it's nice to have it again like a gradient. Do your lip liner like normal with a dark lip liner and then shade in from about here, shade in this whole area with that dark lip line and same on the outside, and then just put your lipstick in here and then tap that in and blend it in so you get that gradient in instead of this line. That is a look in itself that I think will be nice with softer makeup, like a bold line, like that whole kind of like 90s like TLC kind of look.
So we just finished this beautiful look.
This is called the Kylie look.
This is the Kylie look.
I feel the blush and the highlighter and the like
little liner on the
And let's take a look at the forehead as well very quickly. Kim Kardashian's forehead isn't excessively large. We don't need that much bronzer going on around the forehead. It looks like when you go to like a zoo and there's a face painter and they're like, do you want a sunset painted on your head? That was actually, I actually quite enjoyed watching that. You can tell that Kylie was having fun doing it. And Kim was a good sport the whole way through. There are of course some things that I would change, but Kylie isn't a professional makeup artist. Those are just my opinions on that throughout. But yeah, overall I think it looks fine. It looks very Instagram-esque, doesn't it? And I do just want to say, before you consider commenting on this video, I don't care how many fillers any of them have had. I don't care what surgeries you think they've had. I don't care about any of their dramas. I don't care about any of that. This is solely about makeup and all that kind of stuff. So before you comment on this video, just take that into consideration. But yes, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I have Twitter as well, which I keep forgetting. So follow me on that, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.